Are we living in the end times? Is Jesus about to return? What is the Great Tribulation? How long does it last? Does the church have to go through it? Does Jesus come back before or after the Millennium? Who gets to be in the New Jerusalem? Who are the nations on earth during the Millennium and in eternity? How do the prophecies of Daniel tie in with those of Revelation? This is an illustration of the end times as described in the Bible. Prior to the second coming of Christ, there will be a period of great suffering called the Great Tribulation. There will be lots of wars, famines, and natural disasters. A great leader will appear on the world stage. He will try to bring peace to the world and will claim to have all the answers. The people of the world will have to declare their allegiance to him. Anybody who does not swear allegiance to him will be killed, and nobody will be able to trade without his mark. Eventually, this leader will declare himself to be God and will demand that everybody worship him. The true Christians will of course refuse to worship him, and so they will be persecuted and put to death. Some of the people of the world will refuse to accept his mark as well, and will try to help the Christians. Some Christians who have kept themselves pure will be spared from this hour of trial. They will be offered to God as first fruits. Most of the church, however, will have to go through the Great Tribulation. This will require patient endurance on behalf of the saints. Many of them will be thrown into prison, and many of them will be killed. After being persecuted for 42 months, which is 1,260 days, or 3.5 years, the church will be raptured. This is the harvest at the end of the age. When the church is raptured, a great multitude from every tribe, nation, language will appear in heaven. They will be united with the dead in Christ, who will have been called up to be with Christ in the clouds. This is the first resurrection. They will all stand before the judgment seat of Christ, and they will be rewarded for the things that they have done whilst in the body. There will be a great celebration in heaven, and Christ will take his bride. While the believers are with Christ in heaven, God will pour out his wrath upon the nations of the earth. Christ will then return on the day of the Lord with an army of believers to strike down this evil world leader and all who gave their allegiance to him. He will separate the nations of the world into those who persecuted his people and those who were kind to his people. Those who persecuted the church will be thrown into hell, but those who were kind to the believers, because they worship God, will be given a reward, and will most likely continue as the nations on earth into the millennium and then into eternity. Christ and the believers will reign over them for 1,000 years. When the 1,000 years are over, the born-again believers who are reigning with Christ will descend from heaven like a bride prepared for her husband, to become the New Jerusalem, where God will dwell with man for all eternity. The nations who are kind to God's people will be outside. When the 1,000 years are over, The dead outside of Christ will be raised for judgment at the great white throne. If their names are not found in the Lamb's book of life, they will be thrown into the lake of fire, which is the second death. Those whose names are in the Lamb's book of life will be able to enter the New Jerusalem and partake of the tree of life.